The Craftsman 20-volt battery-operated grease gun is available bare tool for around $149, or in a kit here, like I have, for somewhere around $200. Now this kit's going to come with a 2 amp hour battery. This guy's going to be more than sufficient for 80% of users. If you own an excavating company or something like that, you might need a little bit more than this, or you're going to have to charge that battery fairly often. This is not a battery eating tool. With that said, this case could get quite greasy over time, and that interests me a little bit because the plastic cases, for that matter, sometimes get a little bit nasty if you don't keep up with them. Now, the cool part about this gun, we've all seen most of these before, so it's very similar to many other ones out on the market. You have 2 different flow rates. This will flow on level 2 upwards of 9 ounces per minute. So you're going to clear out one of these tubes very quickly on level 2. You have a 40-inch hose here. That is what I like, something I can get in, reach to something, not have to have this guy in an awkward situation. I also like that it has a place to store the cap, so I can kind of put this all back together, obviously, and put it back in the bag. This is going to get nasty over time. We all know it. Now to put grease in this guy, simple. We're just going to undo the tube on the bottom. Pull this guy back, lock it into place, take your favorite grease. Mine happens to be green for the applications that I'm using. Everyone's going to be slightly different. Now for me, this is something I do with this. This isn't something you have to do, especially the first time you screw into any of these. I take it in up to the point where it seats, right there, and then I back it off about a turn. Take this guy, twist it around, kind of run it through, makes a mess, yes, but it also allows most of that air to come out. Priming this is not a big deal. If you wanted to prime, you could use this button up top. You just twist it and it'll let air out. Not a big deal. One of those things. You can do this in multiple different ways. With that said, let's hope this battery has enough charge to get us going in the beginning. Take the cap off this guy, and then we're going to run this till we get some grease out. You can hear it primed already. We're ready to rock and roll. On level 1, we are capable of 10,000 PSI, which is definitely not something I need. I like it that it's a little bit slower, especially when you get into these types of greasers where they don't need a lot of grease. You're just trying to get everything greased up, not trying to overfill anything and make a mess. If you have a tractor like this, you know there's a million spots to grease it. And this type of stuff makes it easy because you can go through very quickly and get everything set. Another item I like about this is the LED light. I can see in dark places, especially where a greaser might be hiding. And it is something you don't get on normal grease guns. That to me is a big help in some areas. Sometimes when you're in the field, it's late at night, that LED light is pretty sweet. The tip on this grease gun is fairly short, adjustable, and also replaceable. So if you have another favorite tip, you can throw it on this grease gun without any issue. There's also a spring that's going to protect that hose from being kinked over too much and also give your hand a place to grip. So as you're pushing onto that zerk, that spring is a great place to have in your hand, and then you can kind of get that zerk into place wherever you need it. If you have to reach into a place, you can also use that spring as a way of kind of applying pressure. You can use the hose, apply the pressure forward on that spring, and it'll go in no issue. There's also a spring on the grease gun end closer to where the cartridge is at. That's going to also protect it and help that hose last a lot longer. Overall feel of this is, to me, Craftsman. I say it a lot with DeWalt. DeWalt has a very common feel. This too has a very common feel. There is a lock off if you're going to throw it in the bag. Obviously, if you keep the battery in it, you're going to want to do that. It would really suck to have that grease cartridge flow into that bag full rate. As we said, in 1 minute, you can dang near empty this whole grease cartridge on level 2. So watch that as to how much grease you put onto something. Battery life on this is amazing. A 2 amp hour battery is going to last you a very, very long time. Like I said, if you're in an excavation company and you're using this, maybe at that point you might want to have a larger battery, only because you're going to possibly run 5-6 cartridges of grease through this in the day and forget to charge it. I mean, this 2 amp hour battery seems to go forever in this tool. Also, when you're using this, clean it up at the end of the day. It's well worth grabbing onto this guy and not having it completely greasy. I understand where they're a grease gun, they get greasy, but using these and everything else is just that much more enjoyable if it's not covered in grease, and they get covered in grease quite quickly, especially if you use the storage system that comes with this and uses that spring. It can apply grease all over this thing. This guy is well worth investing in my opinion. If you're in the Craftsman line, jump into this. This is one of those tools that is gold. You can use it on your lawnmower, you can use it on your tractors, you can use it on anything. Vehicles don't have many grease zerks anymore, and some of them should, but if you have any other style of equipment, this is a lifesaver. It gives you all kinds of good items that you don't have to prime a hand grease gun. This does a lot of the work for you. There's a lot of things here that you can just jump into, and the battery operation is awesome to use. So if you have a use for this, it's priced right, can get it in a kit, can get a bare tool. It's pretty awesome. I'll leave some links in the description. As always, give us a like in this video, share it around. It helps us out. It helps us get out to more people. We greatly appreciate that. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.